Welcome to Livermore Individuals Monthly Meeting. I'm Helen Machugu, one of the steering committee members. It's nice to see you here on a Sunday afternoon. And to paraphrase our last newsletter, for most of us, the last 2 weeks have been unusually difficult, and unfortunately, I have no hope that it's going to change in the next couple of years. But, and also, to quote Dr. Timothy Snyder, do something helps, and we're going to give you lots of opportunities to do something today. Today, we are concentrating on immigration, which you've seen in the news, whether it's the South Koreans that were taken out of Georgia, except for, I think, one that agreed to stay and help Americans learn how to do what they were doing, which just seems bizarre, or on our own streets. And we'll be talking about some local cases later on. But first, I would like to introduce Erum Choudry, who is a local corporate immigration lawyer, attorney, who will share her experience and what she does, which I found very fascinating because I hadn't thought about that type of immigration. And she will also share some information from Soshni Nasiri, who we've worked with a lot, who is in DC this weekend. Okay, and Erum.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you guys hear me clearly? Okay. My name is Erum Choudry. I am a managing partner and a founder of Erum Choudry Law. And my main office is in Livermore, actually. So I'm a resident of Livermore. Today we are going to just talk about like H1B. Before I get started, I just want to say thank you, Helen, for inviting me here. And I'm thankful to Spojmi Nasiri as well, who introduced me to this wonderful group. She is in Washington DC right now, so she could not come. I will share some slides that she provided me with because her area of practice is different than mine. I do corporate business immigration, which probably you must have heard on Friday. What happened was there was a presidential proclamation that was.
Could you talk in your mic?
Oh, okay. Can you guys hear? Okay, is it clear? Okay, perfect.
Much better.
Thank you. So on September 19th, this last Friday, our president, signed a proclamation that imposed $100,000 fee on employers, for each H1B entry, like meaning that there's a restriction on the entry of anyone seeking to enter or re-enter the United States on H1B status cannot enter without a payment. So that is worrisome because there's another, there's another memo about the transition to wage-based H1B selection system. That is also proposed. It's under proposal. So it is a proposed system that the application would be prioritized based on the wage offered. Meaning, the higher the wage, the better chances for somebody to get in the H1B system or be picked up on the H1B lottery. So if you do the combination of this 100,000 plus the higher wage, it's a very discouraging for the U.S. employers to hire, and then that's not only the difficulty for the employers. There's also our clients, the H1B or H4, the dependents. They are receiving notice to appear in the court. That is very frightening for them because they are the people who come here to work. Having something to court involvement is something that is very scary to them because they are here to work, pay their taxes, and then, build their future. But that's just kind of very discouraging. There's another, not only notice of pay, then another issue that is happening right now is the worksite audits. It's kind of increased, and the employers are facing more scrutinies. I'll go through later, how you can protect yourself. But I just wanted to go through what difficulties that or the challenges we are facing as business immigration attorneys, though. Another is the modernization of H-1B rule. That is a strict scrutiny about the specialty occupation. That is also the H-1Bs are being impacted on that. So after all this, what's happening right now, the main issue is the economic impact. So the labor supply and talent access. So there are fewer, the first is the issue is going to be the labor supply and talent access. So fewer immigrants, worker, and the higher cost definitely may lead to shortages in tech, healthcare, agriculture, and construction, various agencies. The visa fee, audits, and legal compliance also, it's all the cost is involved. So per H-1B, employee is going to cost a lot. So, and for the big companies who are Fortune 500 companies, at least they can afford. But think about the small companies, the startups, or the new founders. Because most of the immigrants, when they come here, they start their businesses now. And if they cannot afford to have a workforce, because what our job as the attorneys, business corporate immigration attorneys, we bring the best and the brightest to the US. Mm-hmm. And what's going to happen with this, that the economic growth is going to be restricted. Goldman Sachs actually estimated that not only the slowing down of the immigration, it may reduce GDP growth contribution by 30 to 40 point basis. So the big tech companies, if you compare them, of course, they are discouraged also. Like all these Fortune 5 companies, and we're in Silicon Valley. We know how H-1B, this workforce, is important for us. So that is definitely being discouraged. Another issue is, the immigrants, when they come, as I mentioned, they want to grow their business. So there will be less startups now, though. And of course, it's going to impact our regular employment, because when they open the businesses, they employ. The employees are part of, major, any businesses, and that's not going to happen. Then labor shortages is going to happen. That will impact prices then. The products that we use, the services that we get, and the production delays are going to happen. Because of this uncertainty around in the air, it makes hiring decision very riskier. Not only that, it also, the expansion of businesses are going to be restricted. So the fiscal impact and government revenue, if you weigh and balance the cost that they're going to add, 100,000, plus the higher, wages that they are proposing in 2027 H-1B, if you compare it with the taxes that they pay, or the businesses that they generate, or the revenue any immigrant, generate, that is actually, we are going in loss then, for sure. So what we are losing now, what we are losing right now is, the firms may locate, they may go, the businesses are going to go to other countries. They're going to Australia, they can go to Germany, they can go to Canada. So, and they will find some friendlier immigration policies, or the environment that they can get. So the US innovation and global position may weaker if foreign talent is denied, which is happening right now. So disruption in workforce could impact the prices product, which I just mentioned. There are other legal challenges also, though, because all these companies are going to the court. So our court system is going to spend time. So more money is going to be spent on that. Then it will be more delay. Maybe all this will be enjoyed. Whatever this, 100,000 is going to, it's not going to fly. But end of the day, the problem is that we are, we are not progressing. We are being restricted. the new brain, and we are in an AI, phase. This is like kind of renaissance of AI. So what's happening is the employers are not going to probably hire people because they have to end up paying more, which that's just the budget doesn't allow them to do. And all these good brains, which is the kind of AI revolution is happening right now, may actually direct to other countries. So that is that's the concern, not only for us, but also for the companies, the big companies who are hiring these people. Another issue is going to be all the students. There's like a lot of restrictions going on with the student. They are under huge scrutiny. When somebody graduates, they want to be paid level 1, which if this H-1B, the proposed, the higher wage policy is going to be implemented, it will be difficult for the employers to employ them. So that also a discouraging, in general, it's very discouraging. Also, I just want to touch base on a couple of things that, the way the policies are. All these H-1Bs, when they get to the point where they're getting their green cards, backlog countries like India and China, their kids are here when they were like minor, and now they're reaching the age where they're 21. In the past, the USCIS would allow the use of the dates of filing, so they can freeze that approach permitted children to freeze their age at a younger point. Now, the policy effective August 15, 2025, USCIS now uses the final action date chart to determine visa availability for any kids under 21 or they're reaching 21 under Child Status Protection Act. That way, not many people are going to be able to freeze their age. So what they're going to do, either the kids are going to go away, they have to change the status to student, or the parents, they have to probably move out of the country. Because the age of 21, a lot of cultures, the kids are not considered they are grown up. So, they will, that's the cultural, especially coming from India, they don't want their kids to go by themselves on, there's the cultural impact on that. So they are moving out of the country, out of the US. So that's another aspect to that though. Now I'm going to go to the citizenship. When people who are already, went through all this H1, now the green card, now they're at the citizen stage. The evaluation of moral character, it's very strict now. It's a very holistic assessment approach, I would say, because the disqualifying factors are fairly broad now. So even if you have, in the past, if you have a traffic ticket would be okay. Now if you're having like 3 or 4, it's the totality of circumstances. So not only the discretion, but in general, it's a very strict scrutiny now, even to get the citizenship. So just imagine these people have already paid a lot of taxes, and they get to the point and they are just like, it's very difficult for them to get to that point where they want to be, and their kids to secure the future. Now I will just go through those. So this is actually spooked me, because I'm like more corporate immigration that I've already discussed. So Spojmi sent me, shared some of her slides. So this is actually for us also, but before I go, I just wanted to, before I get to those slides, I want to cover, if ICE comes to your workplace, what rights do you have? First of all, when they come in, they don't have to, they don't go to any private workplaces. They only go to the public areas. That's really important. So this, I brought some printouts so you guys can pick up your copy. I hope it's sufficient enough, but you have to stay calm, and a lot of time they just come in, so you're not required to show them any immigration documentation. So you have the right to contact a lawyer. You don't have to speak. You can just, tell them that you just don't want to talk. So you have a right to remain silent. You do not have to sign anything. And if you believe that you have been violated, then definitely you can absolutely, get a lawyer. Nobody is stopping you from that. But yes, this is actually highly increased. Another issue is like I-9. If, we all probably be employees at one point, if not, even if you're a business, owner, you know how the I-9, forms are generated. So that is another thing, that is the audit of I-9 is fairly increased. So as business immigration attorneys, we are telling our clients to streamline everything though. Make an audit of your internally of I-9. Get everybody's IDs and everything. Make sure you have, so if you're audited, the panic, it doesn't happen at that point. So you're already streamlined. It is happening quite a bit right now. So now I'm going to go to the slides that switch me. So this is all reference from Immigration ALA, we call it, it's Immigration Lawyers Association, American Immigration Lawyers Association. So when you go out of the country to, pleasure trip or business trip or anything, and if you are entering, it is happening right now. Even if you're a permanent resident, regardless, they are actually, if they think that something that it's a red flag there, they will detain you. Even if it's for like an hour, half an hour, it is considered detention because they are keeping you somewhere to inquire about it. So if that happens, the only thing, as I mentioned, I have the material that you guys can go, please feel free to pick it up. The most important part I will highlight here is the warning about the Form I-407. Please do not sign it. Do not. It's a capital do not. And it is for everybody who is a permanent resident. Why? Because that is actually abandonment of your green card. So be very careful, sign any document. And if you think that you should sign, please read it. And if you do not understand, ask for the attorney's then. So that's the only thing, the important stuff that I would highlight in this slide. Okay. Then just a couple things that I think the slides are. Yeah, so the electronic devices, there is search going on. And not only that, actually sometime they actually take your device and then have you come over later on to pick it up. So just travel light, that's the recommendation. I know if it's a work related, it's a work laptop, but travel light because you can avoid a lot of, trouble for yourself. And if ICE visits your home, they need to have a warrant. That's not my area of expertise, but I just talked to Spoojmi about it. She kind of mentioned a couple of things that, she gave the material. So based on that, just the warrant has to be there. And if you don't have to open the door, if they don't have a valid warrant. And if you want to see, you can have them, show it through the window so that you can see if there's a warrant or not. And if it's not, you don't. And if they have, and you always have a right to remain silent and right to have an attorney that should represent you. I hope this is all helpful. Thank you so much. It's kind of all over the place also, but that's the way it is.
Could they ask questions?
Yes, please. I'm open.
Any questions?
We need the mic.
Yes, please.
How about Mary? Mary, go ahead.
Hi, so I took a 2-week training a couple weeks ago about all of this, and we have a little group, there are only 4 of us, that have been going around downtown Livermore so far we have hit 25 businesses, providing a poster for the window, and getting the agreement of businesses to collaborate to protect people against ice and how to do it. And then with a flyer that gets posted, if there is such a place in the business where people who would be vulnerable to ice could go, where they would be protected unless there is a warrant. So we have been doing that, and there will be more of that going on, I hope.
Is there a question, Mary?
Oh, question. I had a question.
Can I ask you a question? Do you have the signs from Invisible posted are they posting those signs in the window?
Testing.
David, we'll
Test.
talk about that later.
Okay.
Testing, I'm trying to get this to work.
Try
Test,
tapping
testing,
here.
not working.
Okay.
Anyway,
We'll repeat the
Yes.
But
question.
Yeah.
we can hear, just talk a little louder.
Yeah, I do.
Can you advise, like, so everyone here understands how long it takes to get a visa, how long it takes to get a green card, how long it takes to get a citizenship,
Sure.
and how much it costs, so everyone has an understanding of what all the hurdles are that we go through?
Sure, okay. So as I mentioned, I'm like a business immigration attorney, so I can definitely talk about that. So there are multiple categories.
Right.
So under the employment-based green card, a non-immigrant. So there's a non-immigrant category and immigrant category. So non-immigrant where you enter on a temporary visa to work. And then the H-1B actually falls under that category. And there's an immigrant category, which is the green card. So under the non-immigrant, there are a bunch of alphabets. You know, you name like entire alphabets are there. So H, L. L is intra-company transfers, you know, where if you have a business here, abroad, you can, your employees can, kind of exchange from one abroad company and you can bring them over here. There's a different various categories, A and B, like you're a skilled worker and you're an executive. There are E3 visas only for Australians, so there are a bunch of options like non-immigrant. So every category, there's a different timeline for each. That's what I wanted to tell you. So if you're going to go through H, so the H itself, there is an option of premium processing. You pay $2,825 extra on top of the filing fee, and then you will get it expedited within 15 days. So that's an option. And most of the non-immigrant employment based, they have an option of expediting. Now the green card. So the green card has been slowed down because there are various, again, the categories. The perm, what we call the perm, is based on, if you stick to H-1B, hypothetical, then the H-1B employee, the employer will file a perm for them. In its entirety, just the green card, the perm itself takes 6 months. We send the job description to the Department of Labor so they can run and determine the wage, which is now is going to be probably different now with whatever is happening. But as of today, you send it to them. They take between 6 to 8 months, and then sometimes they're slow, sometimes fast. Every month we have this their processing time. So they give us the wage for that particular position. We take that wage and then the employer does the recruitment. The employer recruitment itself, there are various ways of doing it. They put in the Sunday newspaper, local, job search online. There's a SWA, Cal Jobs that we put, and that is expensive for them. One H-1B perm, they spend at least $3,000 just for the recruitment. 3,000. Between 3,000 to 4,000 per employee, unless they can batch it. But if they have to do, if it's a smaller, then they have to do, individually. But 3,000 to 4,000 just to get that recruitment. So 30 days, they put the ads up. 30 days, they wait to see if anybody from the open market will apply and be suitable for that position. If the employer gets a resume that is the fit for that position, who is a green card holder or a citizen, then they will stop the process. They won't proceed with that, the green card. But if they don't, then they proceed. So it's a very strict, so when we talk about Buy American, Hire American, this is the policy that they follow. This is the guidelines the employer follows in order to get to that point where they confirm that yes, this is the right guy. We cannot find any other employee who is within that, the criteria that we have it out there for this position. And if they don't get that resume as no fit person, then they will proceed with the green card. Now, if once that we call it I-140. So the sponsorship, by the employer ends here, and the employer say, okay, we could not find anybody. This is the petition we are filing. Gets approved. Now the problem is the waiting time. For Indian nationals and Chinese, it's going to be backlogged for a really long time. Whether it's that we have various immigrant categories now, right? It's EB2 and EB3. Most of the employers, they file under that. It is actually backlogged, multiple years backlogged, sometimes 5 years. So even if it moves forward, it retrogresses. Because the way priority date works though, every year the government has certain number of visas for particular country. If they exhaust it, great, they don't, the priority date doesn't move forward. If they don't exhaust it, most of the time and by the end of year in October, it either retrogresses or moves forward. But some of these Indian nationals are waiting for 12 years, more than that. Where the issue with that Child Protection Act, where the kids are actually were minor at the time, now they're over 21. And they're having we have a fairly large population, they would have encountered this issue soon. The kids are going over 21 and they will not be protected, be dependent. So that's the answer.
And that's with the worker, not, but if you're not even coming through an employer, good luck.
Oh, that's a difference. So you can come on a business-based visas, right? There's a E2, E1 visas, but there's a long list of the countries who do qualify because we have a treaty signed with those countries, and they can come and they can invest. Well, the good part is the minimum, even if you have a $60,000, $70,000 to invest, you're good to go. But at the consulate, things are getting a little bit stricter right now. But there's an EB5, which is the 800,000 to up to $1,050,000 investment, and foreigners are investing. Now they're bringing it to 2 tiers, which is only to be a million and probably 5 million. So that is also something going on a business end as well. So because I'm a business attorney, I would probably keep talking, but I would like to. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
A long time.
It takes a long time. If you apply for a job when you're 10,
Yeah.
and hopes it comes.
Yes, please.
So a friend of mine is a naturalized citizen from Iran. When he leaves the country now, he kind of has a lawyer like on standby, literally, that he can call him from detention if he has to. If other friends of mine wanted to set that up, or is there a convenient website that would give them a starting point so they could set up a similar arrangement?
I think if they want to, they should. Yes, so we have this AILA, which is
Yeah.
American Immigration Lawyers Association.
Okay.
You can always, they're very helpful. I mean, literally we are, it's like not only a liaison between the government and us, but they do a lot of work.
Okay.
Our community is really strong, and this, I would definitely recommend them to go on AILA website.
ALO website?
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
And of course, the word of mouth also, if somebody, already had a good experience with one attorney, you can definitely, keep using the same attorney.
Okay,
I'm just saying that.
yeah, no, thank you, that's good. I'll pass it on.
Absolutely, yeah.
Carly.
Yes.
Hi, so I just wanted to tie into the previous question because it ties with what I was wondering. The most common argument that we're hearing is, oh yay, that means more Americans will now be hired. Or that's kind of the counter argument, or I lost out on jobs because of those visas. But you just processed it exactly. How can we now spend the legal process in kind of a short bit to communicate that, no, that doesn't mean necessarily more Americans are now going to be hired. It actually is going to be detrimental, because if they were hired, we would have stopped and hired them already.
Right, so here's my reasonable thought process, just to answer this question. We bring the best and the brightest, right? And those people are not enough for us. They not only come here to work and innovate or bring something new, but they help us, people who are already in the US. You know, not only with the businesses, hiring them, setting the bar high if that's the case though. You know, I don't think so they're stealing anybody's possession if that's the case. You know, because the people who already are here, they have more opportunity to do, because, you know, myself as an immigrant, it's a long way to get to that point. So people who are already here, they're ahead of them regardless, right? So it's just to bring the best and the brightest. That's all my argument is though. Why you to shut the door on people who are the cream of the crop of their own country? You bring the best people here, whether it's employment-based, business-based, and there's also visa that is individual, talent-based. They're the rock stars. They're the extraordinary people that we need, you know. And anytime, that's my argument, anytime there's a cross-pollination, it's always the best result. So if people are bringing their experiences and their money, their brains over here, and then we have more resources than anybody else, right? That's why they're here. So when it combines, it just makes wonders. That's why we are one of the greatest nations, just because of that, because we allow them. So if we restrict them, then that's a problem. That's the problem. Then they're going to go and make other countries better.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, Mayor?
I have two actual questions.
Real question.
Please go for it.
Okay, so because of these extreme delays, it makes me think that there will be delays in innovation and production
Yes.
in companies, US companies. And we are in competition internationally.
Yes.
Has anyone done some numbers on how that will affect our country's position in the economy, in the world economy?
I don't have the numbers, and I don't know what the source would be. I'm sure people have done research. I can give you a little the fact-based analysis. When in a marathon, if somebody runs and they're behind, most of the time they remain behind, unless there's some accelerator to push them forward. So we're going to be behind probably generations. That's what I can say. Because if we are not having one good brain, not letting them come, or somebody's discouraged not to come, that brain will go somewhere else.
Of course.
And they will make the changes, they will build something, innovate something, financial impact or growth, financially and otherwise. So yes, we're going to miss on that. I mean, that's the fact base.
And then building on that, California, where are we now? The fourth largest economy in the world. And we are also incredibly diverse, and we have people from all over the world, including all of the people we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Is there any assessment about about the impact on our specific economy?
Well, I think all these, in Silicon Valley, all these big companies, that's the biggest concern they have, because not only they will be pushed globally, but the operation itself is going to be disrupted. It's very intensely, with severity. just imagine if they're, all the H1B's workers are coming. So not only that, but just the stress level actually impacts the productivity also. So they are already concerned about it. And maybe the 100,000 will be enjoying at one point. For right now, they're saying for 12 months, and it may extend, because there are other legal issues. They went to the court, and it was overturned, right? So in a favorable manner. So this could happen. The only issue is the time. The delay is going to happen, which you mentioned. You're right about it. The delay will happen. But I don't know if there are any stats though. But for California, for sure, all these big companies, I know because we do stuff, for all the employers. They are definitely concerned about it. It's going to be a huge gap for them, and how they would overcome, I don't know.
Thank you.
Yes.
This is probably more of a question for SPOSME,
Mhm.
but what documents should a US citizen carry now with all the ICE raids that are going on?
U.S.
To
citizens.
prove that you are a US citizen,
So
other than a passport.
Yeah.
I understand that a passport certainly is, because
Is.
we've heard in Southern California of people who are US citizens being detained for a couple of days.
yeah, because we are so diverse. They think that some people are not citizens. So I think this is a question for SPOSME though, sure. But I can just say based on our instructions that we give away to our clients who are on H's and even citizens, right? You can keep a copy of passport, right? The only thing I would not recommend is to give away your phone. Don't take a picture and then tell the officer, because if the phone is in their hands, then it will be tough to get it back.
I'm
Right.
sorry, I missed that. Give away your what?
phone.
Thank you.
Don't take the pictures though, give the hard copy, keep the hard copies. That's my recommendation, and maybe SPOSME has better. Yes, please.
Just to give me a little perspective, today, the fee, effective today, the fee for an H-1B visa is now $100,000.
In addition to whatever the employer pay, that's in addition.
And what
Yeah.
was it before today?
So there was no 100,000.
No fee?
No.
No fee at all?
No fee at all. No, there was fee. It was the filing fee, there was an asylum fee, there was a fraud fee, and there was, we call it IW fee. So those were the fee that was separate that we paid. That was also actually increased last year in April 2024 substantially. So the fee already was increased last year, just the filing. This is additional 100,000 they're talking about. Anybody who's going to enter on H-1B or re-enter, the employer will pay 100,000 for each.
And after the fees were increased last year, what were they?
What was
What was the total?
I just don't remember on top of my head, but yeah, there was some.
Approximately.
Like
I would
5,000, what percent?
Well, they were like, I would say, between 3 to 1,000
Okay,
increase. Because the asylum fee was not there before. They want employers to pay for the asylum fee. So that was like $600 itself.
so smaller than 100,000.
Yes, way smaller than, yes. This is very, it's a very high for any employer, even if it's like you talk about the 500 Fortune companies. You know how many companies we have. We have the main stream, IT, tech companies are here. So that is very discouraging for them. And it is expensive, 100,000.
Okay.
Somebody was telling me that their friend, they're getting charter plane, private charter plane, so they could be here before the 21st.
Okay, and one question, I know you're not supposed to, but I think you could probably guess whether Americans are going to flock to the grape fields and the strawberry fields to pick fruit.
Well, I think Safeway is going to be Whole Foods. That's all I can tell you. And Whole Foods is going to be out of our reach.
Okay, anyway, thank you.
Thank you so
very
much. Thank you.
Okay, try this again. You know, someday,
Someday it'll
it
work.
did work twice.
I know.
Thank you, of course, my pleasure.
Okay, so I'm just gonna use this for yourself. Okay, thank you again so much.
Testing. No, it's not
No?
working. It's off and on.
Anyway, I really appreciate it because we've heard a lot of know your rights and those sorts of things. I honestly had never thought of it from this perspective. And when we started talking a couple of weeks ago on the phone, it was just, oh, I never thought of how all this will impact. Anyway, so our next speaker is Sherry Spain, one of our members, who, what? who immigrated a few years back. It's past history, but it gives you an idea. This has never been easy to get into this country. And so it's people who are here who are undocumented or have questionable documentation. It's not necessarily because that's what they want. It's because they don't have much choice. So Sherry.